I fall, I'm so grateful that I'm still standing tall. I thank you for my tears. The pain helped me overcome my fears. You've been good to me down throughout the years. It's a miracle that I'm still standing here. All that I am is because all that you brought me through, and everything I survived, it's all because of you.
I thank you for it all. The good, bad, the ugly, great and small. The times of victory and when I fall.
Oh my.
I'm so grateful that I'm still standing tall.
I thank you for my tears.
I thank you for the tears.
The pain helped
The
me.
pain helped me overcome my
Pain helped
fears.
me overcome
You've
my
been good to
fears.
me down throughout the years.
Yes, you have.
It's a miracle I'm still standing here.
All that I am
It's because of all that you brought me through.
and everything.
It's all because of you.
How can I say thank you for all the ways you made for me?
Thank you enough.
The doors you opened, the times you were there, always making a way for me.
Thank you enough.
My heart cannot express the gratitude that I feel for you right now.
Thank you enough.
So I just have to pause for a moment right now.
Thank you. Just want to say thank you to each and every one of you who are here. We do not take your presence for granted. Your presence buoys our spirit and strengthens our resolve to carry on. And from the bottom of our hearts, we sincerely thank you for being here. This time we're going to have an opening prayer by Emma's little brother, Bill.
First and foremost, I want to thank you, God, for the ability to come together in the midst of our sorrow and sadness to celebrate my sister's life. She was a loving and a beloved person, and I, for one, will miss her greatly. But this is not about sadness. This is about celebration, and that's what we're going to do today. And so it is. Amen.
At this time, Akil Frost, grandson of Emma, will delight us with a poem.
The name of my poem for my grandmother is entitled The Divine Transition, an Ode to Emma. And I wrote this poem the day that I heard the news of her transition, and I felt the need to express what was on my heart in a poetic way. Today, as I awake, it's Sunday, 8:44 a.m. It's very peaceful today. My granny appeared to me in my dreams, letting me know that everything would be okay. Her divine spirit touched mine, letting me know that everything will be fine. If I could describe the joy and happiness that I saw in her eyes, it was like she was born again a second time, asking me to walk with her, to come see my papa. So as I walked with her to open the doors to see him, I was awakened to the news of her transition. And I feel very peaceful today to witness her walking to the doors of her forevermore, to be reunited with her husband on Father's Day. I feel peaceful today. I thrive to finish the walk with my grandmother, just so I could have the opportunity to see my pawpaw on the other side. But she woke me up as if she was telling me, "No, Akil, go on and live your life." So just as I did on that day, on this day, I also feel peaceful, knowing that she gave everything she had in her physical life to the human family, but most importantly, our family. She ran her marathon. She completed her race. Job well done. And now that she has passed the baton, it is now your turn to keep on keeping on. Thank you.
At this time, we'll have a musical selection from Hannah Kelly, the choir.
thought you would go then come back home. I thought the cold would leave by summer, but my quiet nights will be spent alone. You said there would be warm love in springtime, but that is when it started to be cold. I never dreamed you'd live in summer, but now I find myself all alone. You said then you'd be the life in autumn. Said you'd be the one to see the way. I never dreamed you'd leave in summer, but now I find my love has gone away. Why couldn't you stay? Stay.
At this time, we're going to have an ancestor ceremony from the elders in the family as they make their way forward. Welcome, Emma.
It's kind of difficult after all of the outpouring of love for our sister to come up here and be composed, but you all knew her in a different way than each of us. And I think I speak for my brothers and sisters in saying that we thought we owned her. But today we return her to the village, and we seek to usher her and say to the spirit world, welcome your new ancestor. At this moment, we want to pause and bring in that African tradition of pouring libation. I had the opportunity of spending the last couple of nights at Emma's apartment, and it was an amazing experience in that I found out that she truly embraced her Africanness, and we are too, in our way, by pouring libation. The oldest of my sisters now, Regina is going to pour libation for Emma, and Sylvia is going to pour libation for the ancestors to come, and we're going to specifically highlight Navy, her youngest great-grandchild. And Bill, the senior member of the family, of the siblings now certainly, is going to pour libations for her parents, our parents. But before we start, I want to just tell you or remind you that libation pouring is an ancient African tradition. It's done all over the continent. And as we here in the diaspora seek to reconnect, to know our roots, there's no better way than starting with the tradition of pouring libation. For water is life. Our bodies are 70% water. Water embodies and carries spirit. I, along with Dwight, we live close to the ocean, and I know anytime I can get to that great body, I seek to do it and I'm refreshed. But when water hits the roots and the land, it nourishes plants and it brings forth life again. And so today, Emma has made her physical transition, but her spirit always will belong to us and to you. I personally, and I know that we all thank you for the love and your presence here today. And so with that tradition, I'm going to ask Regina first to, before I do that, our focus here today is to, again, usher Emma into that great mass of ancestors, and most of whom we do not know. But as we do it up here, we want you, especially at the end, you can call any ancestor, because Emma is at our assistance now in a greater manner than she mothered and hovered and, provided that glue and that what's the word, folks? That anchor, that stability for us as her siblings. So we're going to start with pouring libation for Emma, and the ashe that we say is combining the water, the spirit, the land, and the breath of life.
Ashe,
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 Ashe.
Ashe. Okay. Okay. Sylvia. Just
Okay. Ashe,
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 Ashe.
Ashe.
And, oh, no, because for her parents,
You don't. I'm pouring life for Rachel and Charles, Emma's parents.
Ashe,
Ashe. That's good. Ashe.
and we want to acknowledge all of the ancestors, both the ones that we have mentioned here, but especially we want to acknowledge Emma's youngest daughter, who is not here now. We all certainly remember her, Sarah. She was special. She is special, and we want to remember her as Emma, in that spirit, joins her. And again, yeah, okay, go ahead. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Okay. And finally, the pouring of libation calls to mind the fact that we have ancestors, and most of them we don't know. I mean, we as people of African descent know of some on this side, people like Marcus Garvey, Malcolm, Dr. King, but there are a horde of others who came before. And we would like to go actually all the way back to the unknown source, that one that from which we all sprang, and pour libation. And at this moment, if you want to call out loud ancestors that you want to remember and access, do it now. So, Ramona, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Okay. All right. Thank you.
At this time, we will have tributes from some of the grandchildren. Akil, Hadassah, Akeem, Hodge. You can come up together. Oh, community dance? correction, community dancers and drummers. At this time, we shall have the grandchildren's tributes.
Good afternoon. I wrote this down because my granny would say, Akil, you better do this right. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I want to give God praise and thanks for his many blessings and his many gifts to the human family. And I would like to greet you all with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. That means peace be unto you. And my grandmother, she was a woman of peace. She was a wonderful wife, mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, sister, aunt, cousin, humanitarian, culinary artist, entrepreneur. Y'all don't want me to keep going, do you? She was also a licensed yoga instructor, a marathon runner, community activist, and part-time comedian, though she would never admit it. When I was a kid, she would tell me so many stories. Just she could talk for hours and hours. And, sometimes I would just have to correct her because I would be looking at her and every other word was a cuss word. And while she's talking, I'm looking at her like, and she like, what? And I'm like, Granny, you cussed again. And she'll be like, oh, SH, my bad. All right, I'm gonna stop cussing. And then she go back to doing it again. But that's my granny. Even going back to the days where she and my papa, Robert Kelly, used to live with us in Southfield, Michigan. She was an entertaining personality and an entertaining vibration. Granny would drive us to school every day, me and my brothers, and she would be playing the oldie but goodie R&B and soul songs on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. And if she was driving too slow, we'll be in the back seat saying, Granny, get your groove on. And she'd be like, all right. And she'd start dancing and driving. And next thing you know, we get to school in no time. And, she loved to entertain us, but we also loved to entertain her. I remember when she was a chef at the Palm Restaurant in Southfield, and I would look forward to when she would come home at the end of the night, it'd be 10, 11 p.m., and she'll have her chef hat on and her chef outfit, and she would bring us key lime pies. And I would stay up just so I could get a piece of key lime pie. And then eventually, when she ended up moving back to Cincinnati and we moved back to Toledo, I would look forward to when she would drive in town with my pawpaw, and she'll have that buskin pie waiting for me. I guess it makes sense why I got these cavities back here. And a fond memory that I have is driving to Cincinnati, and as soon as we get to the bridge where it has the big Cincinnati sign, getting off on Paddock Road, I already know where we're going. We to that driveway at Elizabeth Place. As soon as my mom unlocked the door to her minivan, I'm getting out, I'm running to the door, ring that doorbell, and she opened the door, and I hear those magic words, hey, you guys. And I knew at a very young age that I had the coolest granny in the whole wide world. So when I look at my cousins, my aunts and uncles, and my parents that are in this room, I know you all know that the time we spent over at Elizabeth Place was priceless because my grandfather and my grandmother made it a nurturing, fun environment for us. And it's those moments that, I hold on to and I never forget. My grandmother, her heart was full of so much love that she couldn't help but spread it to so many people. Not just family and friends, but people that she would meet at Melrose, YMCA, the Woodlawn Rec Center, Kroger. And I would see her on a daily basis juggle so much. She would literally take care of my pawpaw, who was physically disabled himself, and he battled many health issues of his own, but she still made it a priority to come see us in Toledo and Michigan and then make time to see her other grandchildren and her great-grandchildren. And that's just how important family was to her. She was a superwoman. She was really superwoman, And I could remember a time when I was still at Central State, and I would look forward to coming home. I probably came home too much. But there were times where I would come home and I'll call Granny. Like, Granny, where you at? She like, what you want? I'm in California with my brother Michael. I'm like, dang, Granny, when you gonna be home? And she's like, I'll let you know when. Bye. I'm like, all right, Granny, my bad. But that was her, always on the go. Looking back on it, I was driven by, and I respected her drive that she had to always make time for her family. So I want to talk about the power of carrying yourself honorably, which, according to Webster's definition, means a manner befitting the highest character and ideals. Mrs. Emma Kelly was a true representation of that. There were things I witnessed her pursue and accomplish, and she never made excuses because of her age or because of this and that. She's like, if I want to do it, I'm going to do it. And sometimes I wonder how she was able to do those things while managing being a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and so forth, because she means so much to so many people. But one thing I know about her is that she wouldn't ask you to do anything she wouldn't do herself. Case in point, she would encourage me to work on my public speaking skills. I'm working on it, Granny. And it was to the point where she went and joined Toastmasters. And then she said, Akil, come on with me. She took me to her class, and I witnessed her craft a speech, be a part of the improv games, receive constructive criticism and feedback on her speech, and then deliver it again. And I really never thanked her for that moment, but I was truly inspired because she was trying to show me that if I could do it, you could do it. And that was her stepping out of her own comfort zone. So when I told her that I was just thinking about being an actor, not necessarily acting on it yet. She went ahead and bought tickets for me, my cousin Haniel, my brother Ahmad, and her to go see a play at the Cincinnati Playhouse Theater. And that was an amazing experience. I had so much fun. And afterwards, she made me stay, wait for the actors to get off the stage, come around, and made me introduce myself to each of the actors. And even in high school, at the Black and Latino Achievers Gala, Hill Harper was the keynote speaker. And afterwards, there was a meet and greet section. So there was my granny. Hey, come take a picture with my grandsons. That man could have been Denzel Washington. She would have done the same exact thing, the same exact way. But she was teaching me through her example that you must go for what you want, no matter what. And what I learned from her is that life is short, but it's full of whatever you want to make it. And she lived a long, full life, and she never made any excuses. And she's a true inspiration. And I just want to say, Granny, I know you're in this building right now, and I want to say it's truly an honor to be your grandson. Her life should be a master class called How to Leverage Time and Relationships in Becoming the Best Version of Yourself. In the last 15 years, I noticed a shift in her spirituality. I would come with her to this building almost every week. And we would sit up in the balcony, sometimes down here. We would meditate together. And these are things that I didn't see her do before. And she joined yoga. I attended one of her yoga classes, me and Ahmad. And wow, a 75-year-old woman with abs stronger than mine. Like, I'm in here dying, and she just breathing right through it. But one thing that has really helped me in my life was the meditation aspect, because she had this app on her phone called the Daily Calm. And she would send me Daily Calm text messages every day. And then she would call me and say, Akil, you downloaded Daily Calm app yet? I'm like, Granny, I don't know, it's $60. Yeah, $60. All right. So I downloaded it, and I've been using it every day for a few years now. I used it today, this morning. Woke up and meditated. And I truly believe that with her helping me, I believe it was God reaching through her to help heal me spiritually. She didn't know some of the stuff that I was going through, but God did. And my grandmother, she transformed into a larger-than-life spiritual being. And I'm so happy that I was able to witness that. The many things that my grandmother taught me, instilled in me, and inspired me to do are valuable tools that make me the man that I am today. So it's up to me, it's up to us to continue to do those things, to continue to keep my grandmother's memory alive and continue to make her proud. And that's my word, I will do that. So, Granny, I want to say congratulations. Today is your graduation day. From Emma Kelly, the amazing, wonderful human being, to Emma Kelly, my immortal ancestor. You did it, Granny. I'm so proud of you, and I love you. Thank you.
How's everybody doing? I'll be brief. I kind of just wanted to talk to Granny in real time. As my brother beautifully highlighted, our childhood and how she impacted us and many in the community, I just wanted to take a second to say thank you. How you impacted my life, especially over the last year. It's not by accident that I was able to spend so much time with you these last 12 months. Started in June of 2022 to now. I needed you, and you were there for me. You gave me the tough love I needed. You gave me tangible tools to overcome obstacles. You gave me love. You gave me jokes. I gave you security. We worked out together. We ate together. We sat on the porch, watered the plants together. You were preparing me for the time for when you weren't here anymore. And I didn't know it at that time, but that is why God had me in your life, whereas otherwise I wouldn't be able to see you as much with my schedule. But coming to Cincinnati, calling you, saying, Granny, I'll be there in a couple hours. And she'd be like, all right, I had a room ready for you. And I just come, it'd be food ready. I would work, we would talk, watch things that uplift us, read books, do everything. She got me right and ready to go for when her time had come. And I want to let you know, thank you for taking care of Haja when, my mom had a lot going on. You had a special relationship with her, and you took care of what needed to be taken care of with her. Thank you for your patience with her, and thank you for being that anchor in that balancing act, for my immediate family. As we know, my mom is a lot. But I want to let you know, Granny, that you don't have to worry anymore. I know you had times of worry about me because of the greatness that you see in me. I am the man that you want me to be and that you saw in me. And I will continue to be that man. And I will blossom into that man in your name. And rest assured, I got my mom. She can't have those phone calls every morning with you anymore. I be asleep and I hear her on speakerphone. My mama going through her life and you giving her advice. Rachel, leave that boy alone. You know how she gonna find her way. Just let her find her way. I got it. I'll be the anchor, take care of what needs to be taken care of. I'll take care of everything that needs to be done. I'll make sure that my mom is good. I'll make sure my siblings are fine. I'll make sure that I'm okay. And I'll be the man that you want. And the best way that we can all honor her memory is by being good people and living how she would live. I got you, Granny. Don't trip. No more worries. Take your rest. I'm here to step up now. Thank you.
How y'all doing? Shoot. Okay. Yeah. First of all, I'm really nervous, like really. But Granny. So every morning, she would come pick me up, and then we would go pick my mom up to go to East Border. She was my best friend, my only best friend, my personal trainer, my go-to person. I used to complain about my mom a lot to her every day. And she was like, well, it's for your greater good. I was like, huh? She was like, oh, it's nothing, it's for your greater good. The first day I went to East Porter, I was with my granny and my mom. And I was nervous because it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people in East Porter and Oakley. And I was just so worried about what they would think of me and how they would judge me. And I didn't want to get out the car. And my granny was like, you getting out the car? I was like, no, I'm not. And she said, yes, you are. And we're gonna go in here, and you're just gonna act like you don't see nobody at all. So I did that, and it worked. It worked for me. And I just wish she was still here. To help me. I used to also complain to her about my sister Hannah. Lord. Every day. I love you, Hannah. I do. And she was like, well, that's what sisters do, you know? Hey, y'all gonna get through it. You know, just love each other and just stay positive no matter what. You know, if she says something you don't like, you just be the bigger person. Say something that might make her smile, that might make her day, you know? Because my sister is going through a lot, but I'm very thankful for her. And I'm very thankful for my grandmother. And there was a time where I stopped going to East Porter for like 2 weeks. And she texted me. She was like, Hadassah, you better not be with that guy. I was like, what? What guy? She's like, I know you with that guy. And he don't want you to go work out. But I do. And she just said that she misses me working out with her. So the next day, I went to work out, and I also kicked him out. So, yeah. And she was very, very, very pleased, very pleased. Like, I did not like him at all. Like, oh my God, just, no, that was not it for you. So, thank you, Granny. Thank you, Granny, for everything. Oh, and I almost forgot. She loved my children, Maya and Noah, so much. So much. Every time she seen them, she had a gift for them. And my daughter, she just, I don't know, she just wants, I know she wants better for me. And I just want to say, Granny, I promise that I'm going to do better. I promise I'm going to make you proud. I promise to not care what people think of me, because they're going to judge me everywhere I go. And, you know, like, I can't change nobody's thoughts or what they think of me. So, and I have to love me more. So, and I promise to do that, Granny. Because, hey, we only get one life. You know, life is short. And I do know this. When someone talks about you, and it's like every time you see them or whatever, they're hurt inside. There's something going on with them. It ain't you. Better believe it ain't you. So, thank you. Thank you all.
My granny out because she plays such a significant role in my life.
Then why can't it be everlasting?
Overcome anxiety, like being comfortable with myself and not, feeling like all eyes are on me.
You know what? I have anxiety too, but that is why I am so thankful for you. The one thing that's more important than the asana, the postures, is, they could just really help you a lot too, but is to breathe. If you take, and then this is, it's so many, it's called pranayama, different kinds of breathing, and to stop an anxiety attack, if you take 2 breaths like, and then slowly let it out, what it does is it opens up your lungs so you can get more oxygen in and go to your brain, and then you exhale it out. If you can take 3 breaths like that, you will see a noticeable difference. I've done a very noticeable difference.
She got kids. She got a family and she just loves setting the tone. I think that's one thing that I really admired about my grandmother. She set the tone for us. Like, she left a legacy behind.
Advice for you is to be a teacher. Go to college and be a teacher. I just saw the way you worked with those children, and I've seen it in the past when you was working with Dad Stephen and stuff. And I just think you'll be a good teacher. And then you can still make money being a teacher. After you teach so long, then you might want to start a tutoring service. All of us want to.
What's the book you use?
how was she able to balance, you know, her life, her love life, being a mom of six? Like, that's a lot. And only being, you know, business owners. So.
It fills you up without a bite and quenches every thirst. So, if it's magic, why can't we make?
Is it on? Oh, good afternoon. So a few months ago, I had to present in one of my classes on campus, and I called my grandmother because usually when I'm in front of a lot of people, I get nervous. So I'm like, what should I do? She said, you know, you should interact with the crowd, and before you go up there, take 3 deep breaths. So I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna interact with the crowd, and we're gonna breathe. All right, we don't gotta take 3, we can take 1. All right, inhale. Exhale. Okay, that felt a little better. Okay. My sweet granny, when I think of you, so many words come to my mind. Since I was a little girl, you planted seeds of your personality in me. Sassy. One thing about my granny, she did not play. She was extremely kind, but you better not have taken that kindness for a weakness. She always taught me to be kind because she knew the power of love and compassion. Being the youngest of 3 boys, I was a handful at a young age, but my granny was gentle and patient. Growing up, I had a great balance. My mom was the disciplinarian, and granny was always open arms and open ears to hear me complain about her daughter driving me crazy. Like the times my mom would take my phone just because it was 8 o'clock in high school during the weekdays. I would even call her sometimes, and she would pick me up to run her errands with her that felt never ending. We would be stopping at Kroger, stopping at Marshall's, just stopping everywhere. In this time, it was the satisfaction of stillness and quality time with my granny. It gave me the feeling of home. She was so flamboyant with everything she did. She had confidence through the roof, and no matter what she was doing, she loved having fun. Fun was a word she used a lot. She believed that life is what you make it, and she strived to make each day the best one. I remember when I was 16, I wanted to go get my first tattoo. And my mom, she wasn't really down on it, but my granny, she was like, okay, show me what you want, schedule your appointment, and I'm gonna get one too. I did just what she said, waiting for my mom to remind me I couldn't get it so I could tell her, nah, it's cool, me and granny going at the end of the week. I was so excited because my 16-year-old mind was like, if granny says yes, who is my mom to tell me no? We would always crack jokes together about how anytime she would lose something and ask me to find it, it would be right in front of her face. We would laugh, and she would call me her extra set of glasses. And one thing I observed about my grandmother is she was very amusing and enjoyed putting smiles on others' faces. It made her day brighter. I'm grateful to say her wisdom and teachings have allowed me to have that in me. Always willing to be helpful, kind, and bringing joy to others brings me happiness as well. Over the past 21 years, my granny has taught me many things. She taught me the importance of squeezing fresh lime juice into my water every morning to keep my skin clear and vibrant, as well as taking my B12 to keep my blood and nerve cells healthy. Health was so important to her. Staying in shape, eating the right foods, and so on. But not just physical health. Mental, emotional, and spiritually healthy. My grandmother would wake up every single morning at 5 a.m. and spend the first 30 minutes meditating and doing her sun salutations. Every blue moon, I would join her because 5 a.m. was just too early for my teenage body. Emma Jean was more than my granny. She was truly my close friend. It all started on August 3rd, 2001, the day I was born. My granny and papa moved from Cincinnati to Southfield, Michigan to help my parents take care of my brothers and I while our parents went out to work. Since that day, we became inseparable. When we moved to Cincinnati when I was 6 years old, I spent almost every day with my granny for the next 14 years. Granny has lived with us, lived 10 minutes from us, lived directly across the street from us, and right back to living with us. As a kid, it was just fun being up under my granny. I admire how she would always tell me stories about my other grandmother, my honey. I was only 8 years old when my honey passed away, and being so young, I only have fond memories with her. My mom and granny would talk to me about her and the good times they spent together, but every single time granny would tell me, she loved you and your brother so much. It felt good to hear those loving conversations and knowing I had another grandmother just as loving as my granny, and granny would never let me forget the love honey shared with us. As I got older, it was like each lesson in life became more valuable. My senior year of high school, my mom moved to Chicago for work 4 months before I graduated. That was the most memorable time I spent with my Emma Jean. Just the two of us. We shared a very unique and special bond, and God is the only one I can thank for that. It is an honor to know that you saw so much of your younger self in me, and that you went to such great depths to protect and care for me. Granny, you gave me so much, and all I've ever wanted to do is give you all the love you poured into me. I wanted to show you that. I wanted to show you. I went over this too many times for me to be crying right now. I wanted to show you that I could do all the things you told me I could. I wanted you to see me graduate, walk across that stage, and receive my college degree. Walk down the aisle and marry a man that will love you just the way I do. I wanted my children to meet the woman who played such a tremendous role in my life. I wanted you to see me become successful and grow into the powerful woman you always told me I would be. You always told me, Haji, you're going to be somebody. And every chance you got, you always reminded me of how pretty and beautiful I am. So many memories that I will cherish forever, and a beautiful legacy that I will help keep alive. She's worked so hard establishing a legacy in our family and in Cincinnati. It's an honor to be the granddaughter of Pete and Emma Kelly. They paved the way for so many people, and the love I received just being in my own city because of my grandparents is a feeling I can't explain. I'm so grateful to be born into such a powerful and loving family. It is a bittersweet moment reading this because I love talking about my granny, but I feel like I'm saying goodbye. Yes to her physical being, but her spirit will forever be with me. I will miss hearing that high-pitched laugh, you busting in our house on Washington announcing your arrival with your infamous line, "Hey, you guys." Your tight and warm hugs and thoughtful and loving words. Your giving attitude and gentle demeanor. I feel and hear you every day. I pay attention to the small things in life now. You made them seem so big. Your grateful spirit is what brought you so much love and blessings. I don't know a world without my granny, and I think that was harder for me to accept. It's like someone took a piece of my heart right out of my body. I pray to have the strength and courage you had, and I also pray to be the grandmother you were to me. Help guide me to be the best daughter for my mom. Help guide me to be the best daughter for my mom. You were her go-to. Every morning before we even got out the bed, I would hear y'all just talking and preparing for the day. And y'all did that every single morning. When I go back to school in the fall, every single morning, I'll be that person to call my mom. I need her just like she needed you. Thank you, Granny, for everything. Please continue to guide and live through me, and I love and miss you so much. Forever your baby girl, Haja.
Following the video tribute, we will have the tribute from the children.
I've been so many places, I've seen so many things, but none quite as lovely as you. More beautiful than the Mona Lisa, worth more than gold, and my eyes have the pleasure to behold. You're my latest and my greatest, my greatest inspiration.
I told you that you were born in love, and you had your mom loved you, and your dad loved you, and your grandparents loved you, just adored you. You were everything, and your dad just mentioned about your strength. I remember you pushing your cousins one time in a cart. Dawson, you pushing those kids older than you in the cart, so you've always been physically strong and mentally strong.
I guess you could say
that's right. I see you doing great things. Great things. Absolutely.
If anyone should ever write my life story, for whatever reason there might be, you'll be there between each line of pain and glory. 'Cause you're the best thing that ever happened to me. You're the best thing that ever happened to me.
Say hi, Mother.
As around the sun, the earth knows she's revolving, and the rosebuds know to bloom in early May. Just as hate knows love's the cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you always. 'Cause now I can't reveal the mystery of tomorrow, but in passing we'll grow older every day. Just as all that's born is new, do know what I say is true, that I'll be loving you always. Until the rainbow burns the stars in the sky. Always. Until the ocean covers every mountain high. Always. Until the dolphin flies and perish in the sea. Did you know that true love asks for nothing? Her acceptance is the way we pay. Did you know that life is giving love a guarantee to last forever in another day? Just as time knew to move on since the beginning, and the seasons know exactly when to change. Just as kindness knows no shame, knows before your joy and pain, and I'll be loving you always. That's the day I know I'm living, but tomorrow it makes me the past, but that I mustn't fear. For I'll know deep in my mind the love of me I left behind. 'Cause I'll be loving you always.
I'm just gratitude. I'm just grateful every morning, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for seeing the morning, and I'm grateful for my environment, my family. I just have so much to be grateful for, but I don't have time. You're not gonna hear me complaining. I got this hurt. I ain't got enough money for this or that. I may not have enough money for this or that, but I know I can get it.
Come on.
Oh, Rachel, I'm just finishing up my walk. Give me a call back when you can. Bye.
Boom, 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 boom. When we went to visit my mom in the hospital, and I was there with my sister, and they came to do a electrocardiogram, and her heart was so strong, and I can still hear that boom, 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 boom. And they were like, she's 79, and that's her heart. I was like, you just don't know. Y'all don't know Nary like my mama. They will tell you, ain't no Emma light. They like Emma. Our mother had a heart of gold. And I remember so many memories, both at Mitchell and then at Elizabeth Place, that, you know, me and Rashida and the rest of them, as we refer to them, we would, tell the truth, shame the devil. And we would have to share our mother with so many people because she was a mother to the community. She loved young people. She loved children. I remember in North Avondale, and I'm in school, and I would look over my shoulder, and there my mother would be in the back helping the kids who needed help learning. She would be there volunteering her time. And she didn't just do it for when I was in school. All of my siblings, as they were in school, she believed in helping young people read and learn because she knew it was the way to bridge that gap, you know, from being a have-not to a have. And she just pro-education all the time. I am so thankful, Mother. I am thankful. And we will probably never know how many young people she helped here in Cincinnati. She helped so many. And all we can is wait until heaven is like, God, pull up the numbers. Let's look at the numbers. How many she helped? So thankful. There's so many wonderful memories, and I want to be short. As wonderful as my mom was with such a big heart, she was no pushover, as her brothers and sisters could also tell you, you know. I remember going to the military during the Air Force in '85 and thinking in basic training, is this it? This it? This ain't not like Elizabeth Place. I can do this. You don't know tough. You think this tough? I laughed at this. I went ahead and stayed 25 years in. I was like, I can deal with this. But I am so thankful, thankful, thankful. And Mother gave me great advice. Once I retired, 13 years ago, I started calling my mother every day. And she, talking to my mom, she has so much great advice, and she shared it willingly with us and with me. And there were times when I thought that I knew it all, and it was like, checkmate. You in deep, Rob. You ain't on this level. And she would just say stuff. I'm like, wow, that's deep. And then I would call Marty, and I would like, do you know what Mother just said? And we would be discussing it for hours. I'm like, God, night. I am so, so thankful. And she talked to me all the time about having an attitude of gratitude. She said, you be thankful for every little thing. And even when things went wrong, and even when things went bad, she was like, you need to be thankful for that. I'm like, what? She said, thankful, because it all happens for your good. I'm like, wow. So she taught me how to see the long picture. I will be forever, ever thankful. I am thankful to God that He decided to make you my mom. I am thankful that you call me son. And words cannot express my attitude and gratitude and all the lives that she touched. This is a testimony to a life well lived. When you have a turnout like this, beautiful, beautiful, I am thankful, and I know, Mother, someday I will see you again.
Good afternoon. My name is Rachel. I'm Emma's daughter. And I'm not going to bore you with how wonderful of a mom she was, but I just wanted to speak on her behalf, because she and I we were all preparing for her big 80th birthday party next spring. And so as a part of that preparation, I bought her a book called something like Tell Me About Yourself. And she and I began to talk about elements of her life and what was most important. So today I just stand before you to thank you. I want to first thank this church, New Thought Unity Center, and what she learned about the God in her through the principles here. I guess it must have been probably 25 years ago when she started to come to this church, and then she would bring us along to the church. I say thank you. I want to say thank you to the Kelly family. It is a family, my father's family. It is the family she married into. As we were preparing for her 80th, she was a teenager, and they embraced her. The Kelly family was her family, and they gave her something that she needed in that moment as a teenager. And so to the Kelly family, I say thank you. I love you. I want to thank the people she met at Cincinnati State when she went back to college after putting us through college. I want to thank Douglas Elementary, where she was a tutor for years there. When she was a tutor at that school, she was more than a tutor, because she would come home and tell us what the children needed outside of education. So some needed clothing, some needed other things, but she loved tutoring those children. So thank you to that school and to those children. Thank you to the Avondale Running Club. She loved those Sunday runs. She also enjoyed the camaraderie. So thank you to Avondale Running Club. Thank you to the sisters on the mat. So my mother got certified in yoga late in life. I don't remember how old she was, but she became a certified yoga instructor. And yoga is a spiritual practice that uses your body and your breath. And to the sisters who practice, they formed a company called Sisters on the Mat. They're here. Thank you to Toki and Deetra. Thank you to her Melrose Y family. She was an avid fitness person and she loved working out there, but we also know how much she loved talking when she was there too. I want to thank the Cincinnati chapter of the NAACP and her giving her an opportunity to help with voter education. I want to thank the National Council of Negro Women and offering her an opportunity to serve there. I also want to thank the Walker family. She loved her cousins. She always told us stories about her cousins. And to her dear, dear siblings, you all saw her with her siblings. And I affectionately refer to her siblings as her first set of children. Thank you. Thank you. And lastly, to my siblings and to her grandchildren who she adored dearly, Father God. Thank you all. So as we were working on her 80th birthday, and I said, Mother, I want to make it more like a tribute to you, too. And she was like, that's sort of corny. I'm living, I'm still here. And look, we honor her today and provide a tribute to her and her life today. The reason why I wanted to use this time to say thank you for her is because she learned, she read some books, and my mother read all the time. She lived with me a few years of her life, and she would be cooking or reading when she was home. And she read a book about the power of gratitude. And that book changed her life, and then it trickled down. And you heard my children talk about it, and now you're hearing me. That when you live on that vibration of gratitude, you attract into your life more to be grateful for. And so I'm grateful. As painful as today is, I'm grateful to God that He thought enough of me to give her as a mother. Thank you.
At this time, we're going to have another musical selection with Hannah Kelly and Granddaughters.
Height really don't run in the family.
It doesn't. Okay, now he being funny. a minute, y'all. Let me ground. Gratitude. I love the Lord. He heard my cry and pitied every groan. Long as I live and troubles rise, oh, His Son is His throne. Oh, I love the Lord. I surely do, I surely do, I surely do love the Lord. Yes, He did, yes, He did, and He pitied every groan. Every groan, long as I live, trouble,
Beethoven's Sonata, played by Emma Kelly, the namesake of our honoree today. Before I begin my remarks, I would just like to give another shout out to the community here at Unity. Emma was vigilant in her pursuit of higher spiritual consciousness and deeper meaning. And this place, this community offered her a spiritual safe house in order for her to do that. And we are eternally grateful for what she learned here, what she was able to gather here and gain. She disseminated throughout the family, and we are grateful, and thank you. She was born of the Nile, Africa's child, more royal than a queen, flying higher than an angel. We shall call her name Horizon, because she is that place where we see heaven touching our world. It would require the genius, in order to explore the full dimension of her greatness, I would have to possess the genius of Imhotep, the world's first multi-genius, an African from Kemet, who was a genius in science and mathematics and archaeology. In fact, he designed the step pyramid. Now, listen to what I said. Designed the step pyramid. I'm not talking about Paycor Stadium. The step pyramid, 2630 BC. And all the other pyramids were designed according to his specifications and his genius, and they are still standing. And in his spare time, he became the father of medicine. Now, every physician that begins practice takes something called the Hippocratic Oath that was named after Hippocrates in ancient Greek. And he is called by the Western world the father of medicine, but even Hippocrates said, no, no, no. The father of medicine is a man who was born 2,000 years before me, a black African, Imhotep. It would take that type of genius and skills of communication to adequately explore, explain, and describe the dimensions of the greatness of Emma Walker Kelly. And I'm humbled for an opportunity to share just a little. Imhotep may have been the first one to give us the geometric axiom, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. But Emma Kelly demonstrated through her journey that when you're born poor and black and a female, the shortest distance, in fact, the only distance between your arrival in this world and your thriving in this world is a bunch of zigzags. Her born date was February 8th, 1944, which meant she was born into a world at war. Now, let me pause. There may be some people here from Florida and Texas. I know you're not allowed to study history in those states, so I'm going to take just a second to kind of bring you up to speed. She was born into a world at war. Let me explain it this way. Twice upon a time in the 20th century, there was a very small group of very wealthy men, and for lack of a better term, we'll call them billionaires. And they had beef with another small group of billionaires. And so they couldn't settle their beef through negotiation and diplomacy, so they decided to fight it out. And it only cost the world about 21 million deaths, and that was World War I. They still couldn't get it together, and 25 years later, these billionaires had beef again. They fought it out, and it cost about 80 million lives. World War II. So what was the beef about that caused all this? The beef was about how they were going to divide all the wealth that they had stolen from Africa. See, 30 years before World War I in 1844, they all gathered together in Berlin to discuss this. It was kind of like that scene in The Godfather where all the families met. And Don Corleone said, yeah, we like to thank the families from Brooklyn and Staten Island and the Bronx from coming here, and all the people as far away as Kansas City and Las Vegas like to thank you for coming here today. That was basically their conference in Berlin. A bunch of gang leaders deciding how are we going to divide up all of this wealth that we have stolen from Africa. And it cost essentially 100 million lives. And 1844 just happened to be the birth year of Emma Kate Walker, the grandmother of Emma Walker Kelly. So Texas and Florida, we're kind of up to date now. That's the world that she was born into. But she had to do some zigzagging. We know that by all anecdotal information, Emma was a stellar athlete as a youngster. But she had to put her athletic career on hold, some zigzagging, because by the age of 13, Emma was responsible for the safety, security, and training and well-being of all 8 of her mother's children, including herself, at age 13. At age 13, when her mother came home, everything had to be in order. Everyone had to be in the house with no extra people in the house. Okay? Everything had to be in order at 13 years of age. But as divine providence would have it, at age 13, she went to Central High School and met her future husband, Robert Lee Kelly, Pete Kelly. And let me just say to the children, Pete Kelly meant a lot to me. Pete Kelly gave me my first haircut. Pete Kelly gave me my first job at the Delicatessen in Corryville. Pete Kelly gave me my first wristwatch when I was about 10 years old, and I was checking the time about every 2.2 seconds. Like, time is, oh man, it's getting late. Oh, this day is dragging. You know? And Pete Kelly made sure that I went to see my first live NBA basketball game. Cincinnati Royals versus the Detroit Pistons. Oscar dropped like 43 on those fools that day, I remember. But he couldn't go with me, but he made sure I got there, and he gave me the watch, to kind of make up for him not being able to make it. And I'm thankful for Pete Kelly for all of that. But what I am most thankful for Pete Kelly is that he loved my sister. teenagers in love. And so we know when you have teenagers in love, you also have teenagers in lust. Can I get a witness? And so, as Tupac may have put it, Emma had a baby. And she was 16 years old. And let me just take a second here. It appears that as a society, we've come a long way in the way that we treat teenage pregnancy. I remember a time when a young girl got pregnant. Not only was she ridiculed, demeaned, dismissed, disowned, disrespected, and that was by the church people. Okay? That's just from the good folk. Okay? You know, they would march a girl up in front of the church and make her apologize in front of a bunch of hypocrites that had more skeletons in their closet than an anatomy physiology lab. Okay? They would do that back in that day. And I'm glad to see that we have improved in that. But yes, Emma had a baby, and what a baby. What a baby. Oh man, what a joy. She's 16, I'm 6 years old, and we have not only a niece, she made me Uncle Scotty, basically a baby sister. What a joy, a gift from the gods. You were and are to this day. It was so exciting seeing your mother take care of you, your feet kicking in the little bathtub. Now the diaper changing part, not so. Playing with you, dressing you. But the favorite part was when she would pop open those baby food jars. And I want to say to you now, thank you for sharing your applesauce, your pears, your peaches, and they had one thing called a fruit dessert, but it was good. Thank you. Thank you. Now the carrots, green beans, and peas, not so much, but that's only because your Uncle Bill wasn't feeding you, because your Uncle Bill would season baby food right in the jar. Am I lying? I mean, he would taste it. That's missing something. A little salt, a little pepper, where's the Tabasco, a little Worcestershire sauce, and a little sugar. Where's Becky and Gigi? Y'all, hey, see, not y'all taste buds. I know, okay? But yeah, he would season that. So the veggies, not so much, but everything else, thank you, you know. And not only back in the day, not only would they shame the mother, they would talk mess about the child. You know, had the nerve to call the child illegitimate, like it wasn't real. And anybody that knows Rashida knows she's as real can get. And what you see is what you get. So yes, Emma had a baby, you know. So Emma and Pete, together they became entrepreneurs, had a delicatessen, you know, other businesses. You know, they had bought the Bonnevilla and turned that into the hottest nightclub in Cincinnati, bar none, don't even trip. Mr. Kelly's was it. Okay, seriously. Now, in between time, might have been some after-hour joints, some raids, and all that, but hey, we got it done. We got it done, you know. And she not only was she a business person, but as was mentioned, she was a pioneer in inner city education here in this city. She was a board member of one of the first inner city charter schools in Cincinnati, Cincinnati Community Academy. Okay? She was very focused on making sure that inner city children, and not just her own, were educated. But see, she had to zigzag. Not only was she, going back to her childhood, not only was she responsible for the well-being of all 8 of her mother's children, not only was she a great athlete and had to put that on hold, she became a great runner. But what we didn't know is that she had to hone her skills by dodging the horrifying advances, sexual advances of her own stepfather, to the point where she would wear a snowsuit under her clothes to just diminish the impact of him trying to feel on her body. But doing all of this, and let me stop and say, to my family, to our family, and every family that's represented here, the cycle of violence and abuse in our families has to stop. Beating our children as if they are slaves must stop. Ignoring, turning a deaf ear and a blind eye to cries of abuse within our families can no longer be ignored. That must stop, and we must have healing in our land. Emma was a giving person. She gave us many gifts. But the gifts that I am most selfishly proud of was the fact that Emma kept on having babies. I love my nieces and nephews. And after Rashida, there was my little brother, Robbie. I remember the time when you were sick and your mother said, "Hey, Robbie would love to see you." And after baseball practice, I catch the bus over to the hospital, and there you were, and your eyes would light up, and I'm like, "Oh, my little brother." And she said, "You know what? Robbie was more happy to see you than his own mom and daddy." You know, so close. And look at you now. Retired veteran, distinguished career in the Air Force, father, grandfather, entrepreneur, just a great human being. And your mother would be so proud. So. Now, Rachel, I know you're very successful in the corporate world, and we're very proud of you, but let me say, your leadership during this time, this troubled time, this time of mourning and grief, your leadership and what you have done, bringing the family together, bringing order in a time that could have been so chaotic. We're so proud of you. So proud. And your children are a testament to your greatness. But I remember a picture of you. It must have been about 3. And you're in the backyard on Kennedy Avenue, and you've got a water hose, and you're kind of washing the car, kind of watering the lawn, getting a bunch of it in the driveway with nothing on but a pair of sunglasses. See, that was when, you were going by your real name, Ray Ray. But here you are in full bloom. So beautiful, so wonderful, and thank you. Desi, your courage and your fight for infirmaries and illness you had nothing to do with, born just by virtue of being of African descent, the way you continuously give love and give that smile and give us all energy. Words nearly escape, but we thank you and we honor you today as well. Ba-doo-doo. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do. Boo-doo-doo-doo. Boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, doo. Boo, doo, doo, doo. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Ba-doo-doo. Boom, boom, ba-doo-doo. Do-do. Ba-doo-doo-doo. Boom, ba-boom, ba-doo-doo. Do-do. Do, 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 do. Do-do-do-do. Equinox. You were born on the equinox. You remember, when I look at you, I think of Robert Frost had a poem called The Road Not Taken. And he said, 2 roads diverged in the yellow wood. And long I stood admiring both. But to paraphrase, said, I looked down one road and it was worn with wear. Everybody had gone there. But then I saw the other road with hardly a footprint. Hardly no one had taken that road. And I pondered, and then I decided to take the road less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. I remember when you faced 2 roads. It wasn't in the yellow wood. It may have been on the playground at Crest Hills. But you chose the road less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. Your mother named you Martin Luther, after one who was a drum major for peace. Now, I know Rachel was really a drum majorette, but that horn and the keyboard and every song you play is an honor. Emma Walker Kelly, she would be so proud, and we all are, and you know that. And because of her, I get to celebrate MLK Day twice every year. Isaiah, probably the greatest prophet in the entire Old Testament. Mother named you Isaiah. People have a misconception about prophets. They think that prophets are people who predict the future. And, maybe a little bit of that. But mostly prophets are those who speak truth to power. And so Isaiah, we say, continue to speak your truth to those who are in charge, so that when they finally listen, there may be healing in the land, healing in the family, healing in the village. And Sarah Elizabeth, who's not here with us, but for whom I said those many years ago, gave us all an opportunity to be like God, to be compassionate, to be kind, to be loving, and to offer strength where there's weakness. And you did that. And she gave us that opportunity. And she is an ancestor. And the ancestors are like our team. And so she became an ancestor early, but when you build a championship team, you need some veterans and you need some young players. She's a young player that keeps us in that spirit of young ideas, youthfulness, and hope. All of that, tribute to Emma Walker Kelly. But the main thing, the number one thing is that I think she fulfilled a divine purpose And that essentially was this. Every family that Emma was a part of, she held together. Whether it was the family of her siblings, she held us all together to the point where there was no fighting and bickering. You know, there were 8 of us. Okay? 4 boys slept in one room, 4 girls slept in another room, and a room for our mother. Okay? 4 boys in one bed. Hey, somebody peed in the bed, everybody got wet. Okay? But she held that family together. She did that. She and your father, Pete, were married for 50 years. Okay? Starting teenage pregnancy, you know, a couple years later they got married and stayed together for 50 years. Now, in some religious traditions, a confirmed miracle would get you into sainthood. Being married for 50 years, that's a confirmed miracle. Keeping 8 children at age 13 together, that's a confirmed miracle. Each and every one of you here are confirmed miracles. And if that doesn't qualify a person for sainthood, we need to do away with the whole category. So as I close, again, keeping the family together, unity. We talk about the atonement in religious and spiritual circles. The atonement, when you break that word down, it means at one meant. Being as one. And as we go forth as a family, as a village, as a community, our strength is in the unity and being at one, as demonstrated through the life, the journey, the zigzagging to get from arrival through survival to thriving in this world. Ashe.
So much to thank God for. So many wonderful blessings and so many open doors. That's why I praise you. And for this, I give you praise. For waking me up this morning.
On behalf of Mr. Walker and the entire staff at Walker Funeral Homes, Miss Rachel, we want to thank you for entrusting the care of Miss Emma with us. We hope we've done everything that you asked of us. If there's more that we can do, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're always available. We have all the pallbearers standing here. We're going to also need some assistance with the floral pieces. Do we have some flower bearers? Okay. We can also use some other volunteers. If you want to come forward, we would appreciate that. Would everyone please stand?